Hello everybody, I'm Eustace Farmer and welcome to Pure Farming 2018 version 1.1. Now this game just came out yesterday, but I did hold off on making a video because I wanted to go into the game and really have an in-depth look around to really formulate my opinion on the pros and the cons. And I'm glad I did that because I will say there was an initial kind of disappointment or shock when I first opened the game. There's certain things that really I feel that didn't come through very well, but then there's other things that I think are absolutely fantastic. And after spending some time in the game, I have to say I will come back to this game and play it regularly. I do enjoy it. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you some basic things within this menu really quick that I think you should really know. And then we'll go in. I'm going to go on the Japan map because I don't think there's many people that have been featuring that. And I'm really excited to play that because it's something totally new and different within the farming genres that I play. So I'm looking forward to doing some cherry tree work and some rice fields. It's going to be fun. Okay, so my first farm, this is story mode and it's going to automatically put you in Montana. You don't have a choice with that one because it goes through the whole my grandfather died, I inherited the farm story. It'll get you familiar with the basic functions of the game, the equipment, where to buy and sell things. You know, it'll show you what their versions of the equipment do. So even if you're an experienced farmer, it might be worth giving this a play, at least the first part of it, so you can be more familiar with the game itself. Farming challenges, basically it's missions. So you can come in and do your missions, and you can do challenges on all the different maps. Free farming is just what it says. You can go in there, you know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing, you want to wing it, go on in there and have a good time. Importer is for mods, so once they start belting out mods, you'll be able to bring those in here. Add-ons. If you've pre-ordered anything, I did the Germany map, and then they gave me a special outfit pack for pre-ordering, and then you can customize your fella. I put him in the nice Asian sun hat, a nice sunflower shirt to match, because we're going to be going on the Japanese farm today. Okay, so options. Now, here's a part where you're going to want to pay attention a little bit. I'm going to go into controls. If you have a G27 steering wheel and pedal set, it will not work. All the buttons are mapped to a G29 PlayStation steering wheel. You get in the vehicle, you can't move your head, you can't get out of the vehicle because it wants you to push a square button that you don't have. You can't remap any of the controls at this time, but I did hear that they are going to work on that. They made some feeble excuse that it was too complicated to do. Well, hello, have you looked at almost every other game out there since I don't know how long? They always give you an option to remap buttons. That's important. It would be nice to see G27 support as well. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition, but if you have a PlayStation wheel, plug it right in and off you go. You can also use the Xbox controller. That works great. I have a funny quirk with my steering wheel is every time I unplug it from my PC, the Logitech software updates by itself, even though I'm telling it not to, and it puts in some obscure wheel that not even remotely compatible, and then I have to uninstall, reinstall, clear the cache. It's a nightmare. So today I'm just going to use the keyboard. So under gameplay, keyboard and mouse. I'm not going to switch this back and forth because sometimes that fools it up. But if you have another peripheral plugged in and you want to switch between it, or if you don't want to use that peripheral, just select it here. This is where your language is, AI traffic on and off. The AI traffic on the Montana map is kind of creepy if you ask me, especially if you're driving around at night. All they have is these service vans. They look like Chevy vans, and they're various different colors, but I ran into a fleet of like 5 black vans driving down this area of town, and it was like, you know, it was creepy. So it'd be nice to see a bit more variety with the AI traffic. The AI people themselves, they're a little odd as well. Came across a gentleman and a lady standing down by the fish and chips place, and they were just going, to each other. So a little work needs to be done there. The cameras and all these sensitivity and dead zone settings, even though they offer you a wide range to set it at, I find that the adjustments going down are just way too subtle. And then you get to the point where you notice and it's like either it's too much or it's too little. So you may as well just leave them where they have them. Your measurement system, imperial for the United States, and then metric for Europe and Asia. You can have your 12-hour AM PM time or your military 24-hour time. Okay, now in the sound, I think ambient volume turns off, like when you you'll drive by restaurants and you'll hear music. I think that will take care of that if I turn that off, but then you don't get the birds and the wind and all that. So if you're a YouTuber and you're making videos in this game, just beware that when you do certain accomplishments or go into certain interactive rings, it does make some little music scores at times, and when you're driving by restaurants in the game, you'll hear the music from inside the restaurant playing, and you could get a copyright for that. So if you hear my volume for the game go out and come back in at times, that's what I'm doing, is I'm cutting that out. So your graphics, this is where you control all that. I have everything ramped up as high as it can go, and the game runs smooth pretty much most of the time. I've had a few pretty good drops. For the most part, I've had to hit my maximum, which is 144 FPS, but I've had it go as low as 30 FPS temporarily, so could use a little more optimization. The vignetting I disabled. I don't want like a dark halo around the screen. I don't quite understand this setting, why they have that, but whatever. I also don't understand why they don't have remapping for controller buttons, so I enabled the light bloom and all the reflections and depth of field and all that and the sharpening. I do feel that the game needs this because the textures that they use are not very good. I will be quite honest, they're very 2D. And then over here again, the radio. If you have music on your hard drive that you'd like to play while you're going through your game, you can do that here, or you can paste a URL in here. If you're subscribed to a streaming service, you can do that. And that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you in this particular segment. So let's go ahead and jump into the map, and I'll show you around a little bit. All right, so here we are. And you don't load in here for the first part. I just thought I would show you this because it's really nice. You have yourself a little Japanese dojo. And I'm stuck behind the chair. Hello. You get one room in this house and a hallway. The same for the Montana map, which I was on, is you get one room, but it's quite a bit larger, and it's kind of like got a kitchen and a living room all together. But either way, they serve no purpose, so it's just for immersion or aesthetics. But you can enjoy your little dining area and your hallway. Now over here, you can use this to speed up time, or you can do it in your F1 menu on the top left corner of my screen. You can see K and L. The buttons will be different based on what you're playing with your controller. And here is your tadpole or Tylenol pill shaped drone. So all you do with your drone is you press V on the tablet, go in here, you click this little drone symbol, and then it'll go off up in the air. And you can be anywhere on the map and activate the drone. Now, one thing I will say about it is this is as high up as I can move the camera view for the drone, and that's it for down. So it's got an extremely limited view. I'd like to see them increase the camera. When you fly over a field, you're going to see these 3D graphic graphs come up, and it's going to show you the status of the field as you're going along in the drone mode. Also on the mini-map down the left corner, as you're doing your work in a particular field, it's going to show you that progress with a graphic right in the mini-map on those fields. And the map does turn like a real GPS in the direction that you're going. Hallelujah. Thank you for that. That makes a big difference. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this at night, I just wanted to show you at night first because it looked really nice here. One thing that disappoints me is the sky texture. It is definitely like the lowest quality PNG image they could paste. The sky is not dynamic, and the sunrises and sunsets and the weather is kind of pretty lackluster. So that's definitely, I think, something that they should shoot for in the future. If they're going to keep static picture, at least, make it a really nice one. And you'll see in the daytime in a minute. But aside from that, not bad at all. They did the water fairly nice. Just give you a little look over here. And let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit. Let's do L. The normal range here is they don't have real time. It's 1x, and you can go up to 15x, and that's all you get with that. There we go. We're going to stop it about here. That's a nice little picture there. But as you kind of see, the graphics are incredible in some respects, and then like the outerlying sceneries and stuff like that, they kind of drop the ball with that a bit. The trees look very paper dollish. Yes, good morning. But overall, it's not going to keep me from playing it. I mean, it's still a nice looking game. And like I said before, this is their first go at it. So it can only get better if they stick with it. And I think they will. So over here, we got our rice seedlings. And then you got your liquid and solid fertilizers over here. It did start me off with this little Zeta Crystal tractor and that plow. I bought the cultivator in the JCB. And then they give you the rice planter. And I've seen this working in real life through video, of course. But this is something else. It's like a little motorcycle with a planter on the back for the rice. It's really cool. And then, of course, your rice harvester. Now, it says that you have to plow and cultivate your fields in order to get the most out of them. I didn't know if that would hold true with rice fields because they do it kind of differently. Here's the wash bay. You don't have to be pulled directly inside for it to work if you just pull up close. If you go too far off the platform, it will snatch the washing wand back at you, and then you have to go get it again. But if you pull up right close to the edge, you just hit anywhere on the vehicle or the equipment, and it'll clean it. Now, if you want a bit of fun, and this is rather odd, they have an automated car wash on your farm, and even though it's on your farm, you still have to pay to use it. So, but yeah, you can pull a piece of equipment in here or your tractor, and put a buck in there, and I think it's more than $1. Yeah, it's $75 to wash your vehicle. So we could do it once just for fun, but I won't make a regular habit out of using that. But it is a very soothing and pleasant environment. I've only looked at the Montana map besides this one, and that one was nice as well. They just seem a little sparse in some ways, but nevertheless, let me just stop going on about that. Another tip I wanted to show you is this CS200. Now, this is a self-propelled mower. Basically, you can mow grass anywhere on the map you want with it, but it's really intended for field grass. The part I wanted to show you was you're going to hook up this header, and it looks just like a grain header, so it's beyond me how this could mow grass, but okay. If you're hooking this up from the ground, it works like a charm, but you can get into a little bit of frustration when you're trying to hook it up off of the header trailer. The linkages are a bit off. I found that lining it up, you'll see these little hydraulic hoses sticking out. If you line up your right front tire with that little band of hoses there, you kind of jimmy around a little bit there, and eventually you'll get it. But if you look on the header where the linkage receiving joints are, in relation to the ones on your machine, they don't line up. So it's kind of like you have to play this little game here. You can wind up really getting annoyed. I know in real life you have to be really spot on, but all right, let's see. This is going beyond that. Go up nice and slow. There we go. So as you see, the hoses, I got it positioned where they just clip through the tire. There we go. And that's it. You're ready to mow. X to lower it down, and you hear it crunching away there. And there's your grass swath. Works great once you get it off that trailer. All right. Nice view. One thing I would like to see eventually, and this might be one of those nice opportunities for the modding community, is to have the engines stay running. I'd like to have manual ignition on the vehicles instead of starting them up every time. Because in real life, from what I understand, harvesters and things like that, once they get them started up and warmed up, it's actually more efficient for them to leave them running until they're done working with it for the day. Let's go down to the rice field a little bit, and we'll do some work with that quick. Oh, one thing I'd like to show you before we do that. Let's say you get stuck. You're not going to see an official reset button come up at any time in your F1 menu. So when you get stuck and you can't move, you might be thinking, uh-oh, I'm really in the weeds now. What you do is you open up your map. There's a few places that you're allowed to spawn at any time, and that's your shed. If you click that, on a field that you own, and the shop. So if you're buying equipment, if you're sitting in the vehicle, whatever you're sitting in and whatever it's attached to will come back with you. So you see I have the header and the harvester here. So I'll just go ahead and click on that icon, and you can zoom right in there. And then over my F1 menu, you'll see on the bottom it says teleport key F as in Frank. And here we are. So you can use that at any point in time. Now, we'll go back into our map. This is a field that we own. We do not own the cherry trees, so we're going to purchase those today. But as you see, I can't spawn over there. I guess I'd have to get some exercise, wouldn't I? And none of these other places you can spawn either. So, but I can go here because we own that field. Okay, and then it's a short walk over there. So this is a rice field. And if you walk into it, it's going to give you the status. So make sure you have your mucking boots on, your rubber boots. So plow and sow 0%. So it seems they don't even want you to cultivate on this. It's just plowing and sowing. You can also see a three-dimensional graph come up when you're flying over a field with a drone. It'll show you the status, the progress, and all of that through the lens of the drone. And you'll also see it in your mini-map. When you're working on the field, you'll see different colors come up to represent different stages as you're working in real time. Okay, so that's our egg warehouse. And somebody's working on something in there or banging to get out. Hey, quiet down in there, otherwise you're not getting any dinner tonight. Pesky prisoners. Okay. So what do we got here? Oh, I got the sprinklers. Okay. That's cool. So you walk up right to the field, and there you go. Gives you the chance to buy it. $30,900. Now it turns green. We own it. And as we're standing here, you can see on the right-hand side of my screen, it's going to tell you basically what you need to do with it. It needs water, pesticide spray, and then the water storage. Rice warehouse. So that's where you dump your rice from the harvest. And water storage house is back here. So let's say that this was a long ways away and you wanted to see how to get there. Just hit E on your keyboard and it'll place a marker. You're not going to see it draw a waypoint, but you'll see that little yellow marker off in the distance. And so here's our water storage. Easy peasy Japanesey. So there's the sky texture in the daytime. Reminds me of a wallpaper. Well, it actually reminds me of a mural that I painted in my kids' room when they were babies. I painted the walls to look like clouds. So it kind of looks like that flat wallpapered kind of look to it. One thing I will say is, at certain times of the day, you'll see that haze in the air, the humidity. That's really cool. And the soil texture, although it's 2D, I like their dirt texture better than the Giant's dirt texture because this has little stones and you can see little bits of moss and old leaves pressed into the ground here. It's got a lot more depth. You can also see around the map at various times on all the maps, you see in the distance there, those black specks, the flocks of birds flying by. See, there's another set. So that's really cool. Once you spend some time, it gets to you. You really start to fall in love with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll plow the rice field. So one thing I'd like to do before we jump in our tractor, I'd like to get a counterweight. So you can click on information and it'll give you a brief synopsis. So this is a 3,307 pound weight. And that looks the smallest. We'll probably go with that one. 5,000 pounds, okay. And then a whopping, looks like 1,500 pounds, yeah. So it also tells you right down here, and that's where you'll see working widths for stuff too. Like here, it gives it to you in furrows. The number of furrows this plow can do is 4, this does 6, 9.84 feet, 21.3, so forth and so on. Let's go with this one. Shed number 1. And there's no space, so I see space there. Let me move the tractor out. So we'll hit V as in Victor, go back to here, get this one. There we go. And as you can see on the ground inside of the shed, you got nice little elements like the oil stains and stuff. Pretty cool. And in my opinion, this JCB tractor is the flagship of the game. Did a really nice job on that. It does look a tiny bit on the Tonka toy side, but that's to be expected with the bright colors. Give you a look inside. I have to tell you, I personally think, oh, wonder why the JCB logo didn't show up there. Probably used the same seat from the Zader. I think they did a better interior modeling job than Giants does on their vehicles. That's my opinion, but I think it looks much better. And there we go. That ought to do us. And as you see, anytime you attach anything, you're going to get the beacon lights come on automatically, and they shut off when you detach. But they don't cast any reflections on any surfaces. There is no manual attaching, and that's fine for now. I mean, I don't use it in Farming Simulator because it was a little buggy for me. It wasn't compatible with certain things. Did I take the yeah, I took the weight off. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's go to our rice field. Bring up our map, field number 3, and for demonstration purposes, now you have other fields. Let me show you the map while we're here, just real quick. So you got 3 cherry tree orchards, and then you've got 5 rice fields. Now, I'm really not quite sure if you can plant anything but rice on here, but we'll take a look afterwards. So let's cheat, and let's just spawn right over there with all of our stuff. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen in real life, when they work on the field, when they're going to plow or harvest it, they usually drain it and let it dry out. The only time it's full of water is when the rice is growing. Now, you have a few options here when you pull up. You can start doing this yourself, or if you have another task that you would like to do, down on the bottom on my F1 menu on the top right corner of the screen, top left corner of the screen, you'll see you can hit J to hire a worker. We will hire a worker, but I want to do the first few passes myself. So R is to unfold the plow, and we'll bring it down. Move the device down, Z. And off we go. Now, you have a cruise control option. It's kind of like a real car. Once you get up to the speed you would like the cruise control to maintain, you just push your left shift. And there we go. We're plowing. Doing a crooked, lousy job, but we're plowing. Now, realistically, they've added in this game that you cannot back up when the plow is down. That holds true for headers. You have to raise the header, raise implements, so forth and so on. Move the device up, Z. There we go. So we'll just kind of do the edge over here. Did I just detach something? No, okay. I wish I had the option to, let's see, I do, right? Number 3. Okay, I could shut the beacons off. Good. Because we don't need beacons while we're doing a field. Don't want to look like a total dork. So it says plow and then sow, so I guess you really don't need to cultivate. So I'll definitely have to do some research on Rice Farm and see really exactly how it's done and see how it compares to the game. Okay, so I think I'll just clean up this edge here. Now I thought you could, no, this plow doesn't turn. There we go. But see, it's got cool sounds. And when you're not plowing in water, they have really nice particle effects. Okay, so now that we've done this, here's another good test. Let's line it up to where we want to start the next row and hire a worker and see if they'll carry on from that point. Now, when you hire a worker, when you press the button, it's going to kick you out of the tractor, so you can't ride along like you can in Farm Sim. But what we can do is we can keep an eye on our friend in the drone. So, come in here, we're going to hit that button there, and off we go. And we'll come over here, and we'll be able to see their progress, his progress. So you can see on the mini-map as I'm coming up to Field 3 in the upper left corner of that sphere, a different color of the field texture showing what he's plowed. You can also see it in a 3D graph right there. So it's 15% plowed. That's a really nice feature. It takes away some of the realism if you're doing role player stuff, if you're in a drone. But what you can say is, you know, in this day and age with all kind of computer enhancements, that the drone will scan the field and superimpose the image. There you go. Okay, let me move my little man out of the way because he's going to get run over. So we'll let our friend do this, and we will go, let's do a little tree work while we're here. Go to our map. I'm going to go back to home. Now, I'm probably going to need to purchase a couple of things here. We're going to need the sprayer and a water trailer, because the water trailer is going to fill up the water storage. All right, so that one's for water. Let's see if there's a larger one. That's 6,600. Okay, capacity 1,585 gallons. That's a 3,000 gallon, and there's one for water and one for manure. So let's get the big one. Go big or go home, that's what I say. Now, I'm probably not going to have room, but let's see, cultivation, what would it be under other? Let's see, there it is, the Akpil Chwast XL SAD. Yeah, I gotta move something out. Okay, let's get the tractor out of here. That's a nice looking trailer. Look at that. They did a nice job with that. Very impressed. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we'll get our sprayer. It still says 0% free. It's probably because I have that mower blocking it. Let me pull up a little bit. Let's try that now. 1 free. There we go. So what we can do is I'll go and I'll fill up this water trailer, and then we'll come back for the sprayer. Let's go into our map, water storage, put a marker on there, and let's see if we can't get there. F2 on the keyboard is your lights. Okay, yeah, I can't get there from this way. Okay, so just before the bridge, so we'll take this road yet again. There we go. I just took the wrong turn at Albuquerque. Pull right into the zone, and I like the zone markers they use. They actually go with the scenery. They're not the yellow and black stripe. Okay, transfer. So I guess the water in the storage will stay at 100% because it's taking it. Well, it's kind of taking it out of the ocean. I hope it desalinizes it. We don't want to put salt water on our crops. Yeah, that's not a lake. That's like a little bay area from the ocean. So, yeah, let's not even question it. Goseran arigato gozaimashita. This has been Eustace Farmer, and I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and tap that alert bell. Also, there's a thumbs up button right under your screen. Please tap that so I know you enjoyed the video. If you didn't like the video, there's another button. Feel free to tap that one if you're a big poop head. Until we meet again, take great care of yourself, okay? And bye for now.